If the mega city of Nigeria, which is Lagos, cannot accommodate and actually actively try and include specially able people into their society, what is the rest of Nigeria doing?
We call them our special athletes. So I think that a proper communication should be done. They should communicate to them as to why they're excluding them. If there's a lack of funds, let them know. If there is a reason why, let them know. This is Trending Stories, and of course, my name is Modupe Jacobs. I have here with me
Ade Oyeyipo. Welcome to Trending Stories.
Now, this story is quite sensitive and is one that we should pay close attention to. So it's saying police disperse protesting para-athletes seeking inclusion in National Sports Festival. So the police fired tear gas to disperse para-athletes who took to the National Stadium, Surulere, to protest against their exclusion from the upcoming National Sports Festival. The Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development had recently excluded the special athletes from competing at the upcoming national sports, making deaf sport optional as against the permanent status it enjoyed in the past. The para-athletes staged a protest to this end, blocking the entrance to the National Stadium, Surulere, which resulted to traffic gridlock on the road. Now, in as much as I think that the government is quite sensitive towards planned protests in the country, I mean, since we had the incidents of the NSAS and all, these people are speaking up for their rights, and we call them our special athletes. So I think that a proper communication should be done. They should communicate to them as to why they're excluding them. If there's a lack of funds, let them know. If there is a reason why, let them know. Because, I mean, it's something that gives them joy. So why you take it away from them without giving them an explanation as to why they won't be participating, at this particular year's event? So, and now firing tear gas,
like at para-athletes?
It doesn't sit well with me at all. So I feel like there's more to this story. I feel like there should be an update to this story for us to know what the backstory is, to us know what they've actually concluded, and why there was a release of tear gas to people that are harmless, so to say, and are speaking up for their rights. Because I want to believe that as citizens of this country, we have a right to express our displeasure. So.
One thing I've noticed about the mega city that is Lagos is that there is not a lot of allowance for specially able people. So, for instance, in a lot of banks, in a lot of buildings, even government buildings, they don't have real accessible, for instance, lifts that a person on a wheelchair can use to enter into a building. Which means that if the mega city of Nigeria, which is Lagos, cannot accommodate and actually actively try and include specially able people into their society, what is the rest of Nigeria doing? Do you understand? So, and I think that is a problem. And I think that it's something that the government needs to pay special attention to. The fact that someone has been born deaf, the fact that somebody has gone deaf at some point in the course of their life, is no fault of theirs. I feel like the community that they live in should be able to accommodate them. The fact that somebody doesn't have use of their legs anymore, or use of their arms, or use of their eyes, doesn't make them useless, doesn't make them a write-off. We've seen so many stories. Ray Charles, one of the greatest jazz artists, was a blind musician, and he was able to be one of the greatest artists in jazz with his condition. So I think that Lagos State, I think that Nigeria, we need to be we need to pay attention to this. We need to be more intentional about including specially able people into our society. And especially in this kind of story that they are athletes, I mean, anyway, we really need to do more in including them into our society.
We definitely need to do more. I mean, and this is where I would want to wrap up today's story by saying that if we are preaching an all-inclusive society or country, it starts by simple acts like this. In every sector, in every office, everywhere, let us have an all-inclusive society, especially for people living with disabilities. Of course, this is where we wrap up today's story on Trending Stories. Stay tuned for more.